Welcome to my meditation channel. This is Maurine Killough, and I lead weekly meditations to move into connection with the greater source that runs through all of us. We meet live every Monday for a deep meditation, which is recorded and uploaded to this channel. After each meditation, we share a powerful blessing-giving segment, also known as Diksha, and this segment is not recorded. All are welcome to join us live on Mondays at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time or listen online. Links to join are provided below. Thank you for subscribing. Please like and share freely. Welcome, everyone. Here we are, progressing toward the sixth chakra tonight. We're ascending. So here we are coming into the third eye chakra. So I'll give you some information about it. The musical note is A, and the Sanskrit word for this chakra is the Ajna chakra, which translates to perceive. And I think that is a really accurate descriptor for this power center. It is linked to the pineal gland. I think most of us know about the pineal gland in the very center of your head. Looks like a tiny little pine cone. And I almost think of this as like a satellite dish, is how I sort of imagine that. If it's properly balanced, then it's going to receive and be in tune with the creative consciousness and the intuition and all of that broad perspective. And if it's misaligned, then we're going to be pointing that satellite dish down, say, to the earth or over to the left brain where the rational mind is, trying to make sense out of it only through one lens. So it's really beautiful. We need both parts of our brain. It's really beautiful to think about a really wholesome balance on this third eye. The color is indigo. The gemstone is lapis, which I have on tonight, and quartz. The seed sound is Om. And the verb is I see. And another verb, or I guess it's more of a gerund, that I ran into when studying about this chakra is also, in addition to I see, I am aware. And I really think that's so accurate when we are thinking about this third eye center, because without awareness, how can we see? So, and that awareness will come in later as I'm explaining more. See not with the eyes, but with the soul. So that is the heart of this third eye center, is that we are seeing beyond the visual of what the eyeball can pick up. We are seeing in another way. A lot of people talk about, can you see? I know for myself, when they're like, I can't see auras. I don't see ghosts. I don't see things. And really, from studying this chakra, I really got the sense even more. It's not your ability to look at somebody and see their auras at all. It's more about picking it up intuitively and perceiving it. And just for me to have that, like my own personal awakening, because I don't think I'd ever really discerned it quite that way, has kind of opened me up to be able to get more about what they're talking about and how I can pick things up, because I'm not particularly a visual person, but you don't have to be to have your third eye activated and to pick up intuitive impressions from your third eye. And this is what the third eye is all about. It's built for it. It's the seat of clairvoyance, and that's clear seeing. And again, we're not talking about the eyes. Another thing is that this seeing that this center does is nonlinear. And if you want to close your eyes to do an exercise to demonstrate this, you can close your eyes and just remember the first car you ever drove. You don't even really have to close your eyes. You can see it in your mind's eye. You can see the color, how big it was. I mean, everybody can usually remember the first car you drove. But if you aren't a driver, just think about maybe the first car you remember riding in. And so this is a memory, but it's showing up. You can see it. And now let's switch. And why don't you see yourself in the future? And maybe there's an issue that you've been struggling with. See yourself being really happy, or getting that job that you want, or having a positive relationship with someone, or being in a really great state, somewhere you wish that you could be. And just take a moment, just see yourself in the future in this positive experience. And just notice that you can see this. And so here we are, we've just seen two things that don't exist. One was in the past, it's gone, it's over. And one is in the future, hasn't even happened yet. So another thing about this chakra that I sort of had a little bit of an awakening on, it was that we all have a unique view. And when we look at something, there's no two people will see things alike. And it made me realize that we are all, it's like we're all just like a different sun ray. Nothing can exist in the time and space that you occupy. It's only you. That is absolutely unique to you. Therefore, when you're perceiving something, you're going to perceive it from the way that you were built and the way that you were created. Absolutely unique. You can be standing right next to somebody and you'll both be having the same experience. And each of you are going to have many differences. There will be some commonalities, but you'll both have completely different perceptions. And I find this profound because it made me realize how profound it is with this third eye chakra of the non-polarity aspect of it. So as we evolve and you're looking for your spiritual evolution, we get to, we hope, finally a stage where we actually aren't polarizing. Well, it's just so cool because already you're built to not polarize, because you're seeing things from just your perspective, different from the other person's perspective. Which one's accurate? Which one's the truth? Which one's false? Okay, they're both accurate. They're both true. So again, this is coming back to the non-polarity. And this is an example of how this chakra stands for helping us transcend that annoying habit we humans have of polarizing. So when we move into the spiritual realm at an elevated space, there is no polarity. All of us are one. We can see that everything is simply a gradation, and there is no good or bad, black or white. Everything is a gradation, and it's all related. It's all related, and therefore it is all one. Many, many, many colors, many different expressions, much beauty and diversity, but it is all connected and it's not polarized. So it sees beyond and also this chakra sees beyond the lower chakras, because the lower chakras are more connected to the density and the reality of the material. So this chakra is, finally giving us the opportunity of getting there. And another quality about the functionality, the functional version of this chakra, is that just like it transcends polarity, it also transcends the separate self or the ego. And here's a quote from Sri Aurobindo. It says, "In order to see, you have to stop being in the middle of the picture." I'll repeat that. In order to see, you have to stop being in the middle of the picture. So I see this as the third eye. We've got to get the ego mind relaxed and out of the picture. How can we see an issue as in clarity if we've got our own interests and our own version that we are absolutely committed to? So I just love this quote saying that we have to get ourselves out of the middle of the picture in order to see. So it's moving out of the limited view as we ascend to this chakra and getting into a broader perspective and into the ability to see the divine in all things, in this beautiful connection of oneness. And so we ask, where are we? Are we balanced and activated in this chakra? The archetype for this chakra is either the intellectual, with all the facts and figures and linear left brain, or tapped into the creative consciousness of transcending limitations. So are we a mystic or are we a madman? Because there are a lot of examples of people who tout themselves as spiritually evolved, and they do a lot. They can be delusional, and we've all seen some examples of that. And it doesn't mean that they weren't on the spiritual path. It just means that when they got to their third eye, they relied on their intellect rather than their intuition. And this can be very delusional because we're just making up stories. So again, the archetype for this sixth chakra is either the intellectual or the intuitive. The intellectual is, again, like the left brain, explaining everything, rationalizing, comparing, contrasting, in more of the material plane. The intuitive, of course, is tapped into the vibration of wholeness, oneness, broad perspective, not judging. So we've got kind of the yin and yang here. So the intellect will be an earthly vibration. It analyzes and separates things to rationalize it. And then the intuitive counterpart to that would be an elevated vibration where all is one. And so as I go through these archetypes, comparing and contrasting them, just Think about what feels true for you, what you relate to more. The intellectual would commune with the ego mind, whereas the intuitive would commune with the divine. The limited or unevolved aspect of this third eye center would have a limited, contracted view, more isolated, whereas the functional and broader one would have a broader view and more in an expansive state. And this can actually be felt in the body. When you're feeling contracted, this is a wonderful barometer for you to know that, I'm probably tapped into my intellect a little bit too much for this. How can I relax and broaden back out into a more expanded state? And your body will relax if you're able to move into a more expanded state. The dysfunctional version would have like a negative imagination and negative visualization, thinking, oh, I have to worry about this thing that's coming up, and this is the worst thing that could happen, would be this or that, and you're worried about it and concerned about it. This is using the imagination for negative. And the positive functional one would have a positive imagination and would also invite the best case scenario. The intellectual part would function more with the amygdala from fear, whereas the intuitive is going to just simply have faith versus fear. And then again, the dysfunctional version could lead to delusion, where we're actually deluding ourselves, whereas the intuitive is going to be inspirational. So consider, what do you typically daydream or imagine? Are you always positive? Are you always negative? Do you have a tendency to look at what you should be worried about? I think that's pretty normal for humans, because we want to be safe. But to just notice where you go to. So this is where, to remedy any of, let's say, our negativity or any of our imbalance, the remedy here is to step into awareness, and thus coming back to that statement, I am aware. So if we can bring awareness and watch ourselves and be a witness, now we have a mechanism to support ourselves and not get caught in the intellect's spider web. So awareness is key. And when we're doing this awareness, we're bringing insight to ourselves. So we are called to develop what is called spiritual discipline. And that spiritual discipline starts by us bringing awareness, and to be aware of thought and encourage movement to a higher vibration. So this chakra calls for us to be in the world, but not of it. So it's really inviting us to transcend. And I'll talk about a concept that I've talked about before, so some of you might remember it. This is a Buddhist concept, and it's just simply the image of a cross. And the image of the cross has the vertical and the horizontal. The horizontal represents the outside world and the density of that, the limited nature of the material world, survival, just like the material world. It's not transcendent, it's not expansive, But this is where most of us live, and we forget that we actually do have a vertical nature. And this vertical nature transcends the mortality of the body. It is tapped into your unlimited self, and it is tapped into a limitless, unconditional love. It is the vitality that will continue on after this body is finished with its physicality. This other energy, this vertical energy, will continue on past the ego mind, will also end someday, but not you. Your soul, your vitality will continue on, and it's alive and well in you now. This is, so you can visualize it as a vertical existence. And so that's what it means. Like, this chakra calls for us to be in the world, but not of it. So yes, we're in that horizontal world, absolutely, and we have to function and go to work and do all the things that we do, but don't lose track of your vertical nature. And this is developing that discipline that is so important to balance this sixth chakra. Develop that discipline and self-awareness to aim your imagination toward that which enhances energy, to that which inspires, to that which opens your heart. That belongs to you. That's your vertical nature. And this is a mechanism to balance this sixth chakra. And so it's an invitation to pull away from the questioning, doubting mind, to have your spiritual will lead you. Instead of having your doubting mind lead you, we can invite that spiritual will, that vertical, to lead you. And to take a look, see where you are living life as the intellectual, and to see where you are living life as the intuitive. Then I wanted to just move on briefly to, when we're talking about intuition and fear, sometimes we can get a shock of fear, and it's our intuition alerting us to, say, for example, not to do something. But it can be very confusing in life. We'll get some fear, and then we might question, is this my intuition telling me not to do this thing, for example, or is this just my fear that kicked up? And how do you know the difference? And so I'll give you something that I started practicing a while back, and so far I think it's pretty accurate. So I just invite you to test it out and see how it works for you, and get back to me and to give me some feedback. But the way I've been using it to discern whether I need to pay attention to what I'm afraid of, or whether that's just my amygdala alerting me, or my ego mind talking me out of something, is I came up with which one has, or maybe I read it somewhere, maybe I didn't come up with it, but it's which one has the bigger story. So if you've just got an inclination, don't do this thing. And you can't even maybe really explain why. And maybe you could if you really had to, but the answer is just like no. Whereas if you could like make up a big story about, well, I really think I should do this because blah, 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 and that person and this, and if you've got a nice big story about it, that's usually not your intuition, because the intuition doesn't have a story. So if there's a big story about something, you're trying to decide which one to do, and the one with the story, just test it out and see. The one with the story, I'm saying, would be the one that's not your intuition. It would be more of the ego mind or the fear state leading you. And so see if that is useful for you. All right. So let's move into the meditation, and we will review the lower chakras first, because it's just so important to know that they really are all working in concert with each other, and we need to balance every single one. It's sort of like a chair that doesn't have enough legs and you go to sit on it and you fall over, or it's completely off balance. So if we want to have our third eye center balance, we really want to pay attention and go back over all of the supporting chakras. And this is an exercise that is great to do daily. There's psychological implications from doing this work. There's emotional implications. And then, of course, naturally, there's the spiritual. So the higher chakras can't be expected to vibrate at a cleaner frequency if we are muddied at the lower ones. So get comfortable. And get a visual of all the colors. And if the colors don't match up to what I say, that's okay. Let the colors be. But we've got, you can invite a red disc at the base of your spine, followed by beautiful orange orb at your second, which is just below your navel, up to the solar plexus, the color yellow, up to the heart, color green, throat is blue. I'm just painting a picture here, and just see all the colors, see your spine straight. Now take some time to breathe up and down your center channel. Pulling your breath down a bit, breathing a little deeper. Sending love, attention, energy, every one of your chakras. And just take a moment to come to the very base of your spine. And that this is your foundation, so empower your foundation. You deserve to have a strong, solid foundation. The universe wants you to have solid, strong foundation, to feel protected, to feel sheltered. To get a sense that your most basic needs are met, emotionally and physically, that you are loved. And so you can just say the affirmation here as you visualize that color. Inviting red, and just seeing what color it wants to be for you, and just say the phrase, I am safe. I allow protection, safety, and grounding. I invite and allow a solid foundation. And now come up to the second center, your sacral. The traditional color is yellow. Is orange. Breathing into that area. And yes, it's your womb. Even if you're a man, it's still a womb. And once your basic needs are met and you're safe, this is a place where ideas are born and incubated. And this is like the most gentle flower of your essence can unfurl in its beauty and its expression, its passions, its pleasures, the aesthetics that you love in your life, whether it's music or art or beautiful things in your house or the way you dress. This is your inner beauty wanting expression. So it's just a beautiful place of creation and incubation. It's a beautiful idea. Just safety in the womb. Beautiful den where you can unfurl your creativity. You have a right to have pleasure. And let that be your statement. I own my right to have pleasure and beauty in my life. I own my right to have pleasure and beauty in my life. Let that be so. See that chakra balancing and being supported by the first chakra. And now let's ascend up to the solar plexus. Color is sun yellow, beaming bright. Your expression. Once you've had your basic needs met and you've incubated ideas, this is where it gets to beam out to the outside world. You really want a balanced solar plexus chakra here because that's really where the ego comes into play. So just see that yellow, so pure and clean. You are powerful and radiant. Just see all of your radiance and your expression just being so clean, pure, and just reaching out into the world with its purity and its innocence. This is your authentic light. Breathing into this chakra and experiencing it being balanced and purified. Your statement here can be, my expression is clean. with balance. And all the chakras beneath it supporting and all communicating, really opening up that center channel, removing any blocks, obstacles. Now you come to your beautiful heart. The color's green. Breathe into your heart. And just imagine sitting in the throne of your heart for just a moment. Feel the support of all the chakras beneath it, supporting and appreciating this power center that is so intuitive, so full of love, generosity, compassion, kindness. It's so feeling. And it's strong too. It's strong. It's courageous. It's even fearless, the heart. Breathe in to your beautiful heart and sit with it. Balancing this power center, and the phrase here is, I am love. I am love. Ascending now to the throat chakra. The color is blue. And imagine a dot of gold in the very center of this, and letting it expand out to purify and restore this most important chakra, your verbal and written and all the ways that you express. And this is your voice, the right to your truth, your existence, your right to say your truth. Breathe into that. I say my truth. I say my truth. And with your next breath, come up to that beautiful center, the third eye center. Having balanced and spent a few moments at every one of the other power centers, it allows this one to be fully supported, so that when you come here, you can see that beautiful indigo color, sort of a purplish blue. Just hold your attention there in the very center of your head. As I mentioned before, this is sort of like, you can imagine it being a satellite dish that tilts and gets into the perfect angle, or it can be like a beautiful flower that is unfolding and opening up to divine consciousness. Here we want to really honor the intellect, what a necessary component the intellect is. But we can let that rest now as we now let that flower or that satellite dish, whatever visual you want now, to really open up to the intuitive mind. You're bringing that spiritual discipline here to your chakra tonight. You are witness to yourself. You're watching, that you're aware. You're aware of your habits and your tendencies. With that awareness, you can now just bring back into line your connection with intuition, your connection with divine essence. And this is your birthright, to have a relationship with the divine. And now, with your witness in place, if you'd like to invite that movie screen to open up right there, and you can invite visions from your life and see your life, but see it in pictures, see it in symbols. And if there's any particular issue that you want to focus on, there's something that's been taking your energy, let yourself see it now through symbols and images. No judgment, just watch. Imagine your neutral witness there with you, helping you to see and explore what has been your relationship to this issue. If you could pull yourself out of it, which may seem impossible, but see the issue without you being in the middle of it. And then look and see, what has your relationship been to this issue? In other words, what role have you been playing? Notice If it's been an uncomfortable or draining experience, notice that if that's the case, it's probably been really contracted. Now, bring that third eye awareness. How can you broaden your perspective and see this issue from a wider angle? Bring in the concept of non-polarity. There's just gradations. Bring in softness, wideness, expansiveness. Give everything lots of room. Loosen your grip. Notice as you zoom out, if there was a story that was attached about it. And notice that only the intellectual left brain generates that. And as you zoom out and broaden and get into the expansive, how that story might lose its focus. It might lose its cohesion. These are just words. Just a rationalization by the intellect. See yourself dropping out of the story and ask what your intuition has to reveal about it. In other words, you're going vertical here, fully. Dropping out of the horizontal, going into your vertical. What's the light want to tell you about this issue? Symbols or images show up when you ask that intuitive voice, what does it show you? What does it need you to know about this situation? there's nothing but acceptance and creative consciousness and limitless love. Tune into that frequency. Let it flow in to your third eye center. Acceptance, limitless love, creativity, expansion. You have it all. It's all there to help you transcend. Feel your third eye activating, being replenished by this unlimited flow of loving energy there to help you transcend. The third eye, it knows, it sees, as it is aware and tuned in. What can you see that you didn't before? What do you know that you didn't know before? Feel all of that energy replenishing your third eye center, balancing it. Revitalizing it, activating, so that your intuition is sharp, it's present, directly connected to your heart. You can draw a straight line from that third eye center right to the heart. The communication is alive between those two power centers. And your intuition is activating. You have the intellectual mind, which is desperately needed for the horizontal, very useful. And now, fully tuned into your vertical. Power center, it's your third eye, alive and well. So breathe into that as we now begin to slowly come back from our journey work into that sixth power center. Feeling and experiencing that third eye activated and revitalized. And it continues to stay that way. You've brought your awareness there. You're tuned in. And we stay connected to that vertical experience up and down your center channel. And now just bring your awareness with every breath to the room. Keeping your vertical awareness present as you say hello to the sounds in the room, to the energy in your room, and to feel your body sitting. Feel the temperature of the room and the air on your skin. And just feel a beautiful blending of the intersection of your vertical and your horizontal. There is a place where the two meet. See where that is in your body. Sending a lot of love and good energy out to your environment. And with every breath, bringing yourself back and back from the good work you've done tonight on your third eye center. Inviting yourself to return back to join the group. And as you transition out, put on some music and we'll get ready for our blessing giving. Just take your time coming out. Thank you for joining in on these free meditations. If you're interested in working with Maurine privately, learn more at headtoyourheart.com.